Hi everyone, this is Heather. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I've got a card tutorial for you with a reverse stamping technique, also called a mirror image stamping, of a fun snowman skating across the ice. So I'm using the snowman stamp from the Spirited Snowman stamp set that is in the 2018 Stampin' Up! Holiday Catalog. Here's the stamp that I'm using today. And you're going to need a piece of blue cardstock. I'm using Pool Party cardstock from Stampin' Up! I just cut, scored, and folded a piece of 8.5 by 11 for my card base. And then I've got some star pattern paper, and this is from the Festive Farmhouse papers from Stampin' Up! There's like a stripe on the back. It's like a gray and white stars. And then also a sheet of white cardstock that has been cut to 5 by 3 3/4. And I am using 110-pound weight cardstock just because I'm going to be doing a lot on the cardstock. I think that the heavier cardstock just holds up a little bit better. So I'm going to start off by using some black Memento ink and stamping my snowman close to the top of my white sheet of cardstock. So here's my stamped image. I'm going to take a chamois and clean off my stamp. And this technique is made much easier by using a stamp positioner. So I've got my stamp positioner, and I want to take out, for this first step, I want to take the foam out of the bottom of the positioner. I'm going to take my stamp, remove it from the block. I'm going to place it on my positioner down towards the bottom. And now you want a large clear stamp. It could also be a large rubber stamp. You just want something that has a smooth surface. So we're going to be using this for the reverse stamping technique. So once I've laid my stamp onto the stamp positioner, I'm going to center my clear large stamp. It does have a pattern, but I'm putting the back side, the smooth side, towards my snowman. I'm going to pull over the lid and lift that up. And now I'm going to press down and make sure that everything is stuck down really well. Now I'm going back to my black Memento ink, and I'm going to ink up my snowman really well. I'm going to close the lid, and I'm going to push down really well and make sure as much of that ink transfers over to the back of that large clear stamp as possible. So now you can kind of see that he is on the clear stamp. So I'm going to take my chamois, clean off my rubber stamp. I'm going to remove this. And now I'm going to place my foam back in my positioner. Now I'm going to bring back over the piece of paper that I originally stamped on, and I'm going to place it in my positioner. I'm going to bring my magnets over. And now I want to try and line up as close as I can, sort of that little corner there of his ice skate with the one that's on the block. So it's going to take a little adjusting to kind of get it where I need it to be, but I'm just going to kind of lower my block down, or my lid rather, a little bit, adjust my paper till I feel like it's in a good position. I'm going to bring my magnets over. I'm going to close the lid and press down as hard as I can. So now I'm going to carefully lift up my lid. It kind of wants to stick because there's so much of a large surface there. And now I've got that nice reflection, and it might be a little blurry. It's going to be a little bit lighter than your other image, but that's kind of what you want because it's going to be, you know, you want it to look like it's reflected in the ice. So that's what our two snowmen reflection looks like. So now I want to add some coloring to my snowman, and I'm going to be using Stampin' Blends markers. And on each color, I'm going to be using the light and the dark version. On the top snowman, I'm going to be using the darker version, and on the bottom reflection snowman, I'm going to be using the lighter color, so that, again, whenever you have a reflection, the color is going to be just a little bit lighter in the reflection. So with dark pumpkin pie, I'm going to color the nose on the upper snowman. And then with light pumpkin pie, I'm going to color the lower nose. I'm going to be using light and dark crumb cake for his little arms and legs. So just carefully coloring those in. And now moving on to the lighter for the lower. So on his ice skates and his buttons, I'm going to be using dark smoky slate gray on the top and light smoky slate gray on the bottom. Do his buttons there. Gonna switch to the lighter color. And now for his scarf and his hat, I'm going to be using dark Bermuda Bay and dark and light Bermuda Bay and dark and light Pool Party. So whichever section that I color on one, you want to make sure that it's reflected in the other. So I'm going to start off on the top with the darker color and do every third stripe. And so now I'm going to make sure that on the lower one I use the light Bermuda Bay to color the same stripes. And I also want to add some of the Bermuda Bay to the hat stripes as well. So dark on the top, lighter on the bottom. And now I'm continuing on with the blue stripes with Pool Party. So I'm going to color in some of the hat and one of the little pom-poms. And again, the stripes with the darker Pool Party. And now down below, same thing, but with a lighter Pool Party. So now I'm done with all of my coloring using the darker shades of markers on the top and the lighter shades on the bottom. I'm going to pull over a scratched piece of paper. I'm going to get some washi tape. You could use painter's tape, any type of a low-tack tape. And I'm just going to run it across where those two bottoms of the skate meet, as straight of a line as I can. Like so. And now I'm going to be using some Pool Party ink from Stampin' Up. And I'm using a Tim Holtz sponge blending tool. I'm going to pick up some of that ink, and just on the upper half from the tape up, I'm going to add a light amount of blending with the blending tool. And I'm just going to get close to the snowman, just kind of give him a little bit of a halo around him without getting much ink on him, having a little bit darker around the edges. Just take a light touch with the swirling motion and just add that inking just so it looks like he's got like a pretty blue sky behind him. So now I'm finished with my blending. I'm happy with the way that that looks. So I'm going to lift up carefully my washi tape, and I'm going to line it back up again over top of that line that I just inked. Like so. And now I'm going to be using the Frost White ink that's also available in the holiday catalog. There's a ball inside. You want to shake it up really well before you use it. And I'm just using an old paintbrush. And I'm going to dip the paintbrush in and pick up a little bit of that ink and just carefully brush over the bottom half. And you don't want to give like a really thick coating. You want it to be pretty thin so you can still see the image through and you get kind of a nice icy look. So I've covered the entire bottom half of my card with the Frost White ink, and I'm going to carefully remove the washi tape again. And now I've got that nice line between kind of the sky and the ice on the bottom. You can let this air dry, or you can use a heat gun on low and set that so it'll dry faster. So just use my heat gun to dry the ink. And now I'm going to adhere that to my star paper. And now I'm going to adhere that to my cardstock base. And here is my finished card. I absolutely love the way that Frost White ink makes it look like it's really icy, and that reverse stamping mirror image technique looks like he is skating. It's a really fun way to get a reflection on your card. So I hope that you enjoyed this card tutorial. Please check out my channel. I have lots of other card tutorials and product reviews for you on my channel, and I hope you have a wonderful wintry day. This is Heather. Bye.